welcome back everybody to the BaseLINE Podcast, Episode 2, NBA All-Star Shiners. I'm your host, Ben Newman, and boy do we have a lot to talk about today. We have an NBA special today, where we're going to be talking about the NBA trade deadline and talking about what teams won what trade. As well as this, we are going to be talking about the NBA All-Star Weekend and talking about the different events within it. But before we even get into any of that, I want to mention two things. First, I want to congratulate the Los Angeles Rams on winning one of the best Super Bowls that I have watched in recent years. The Bengals and the Rams played this past weekend, and it was an incredible game, a very hard-fought game between both teams, and a really nice victory for the Los Angeles Rams. And secondly, I want to talk to you guys personally. I want this to be a very fan-based channel, so I want to learn more about you guys as well as you guys learn from me. So if you see right here, I have my Bradley University March Madness hoodie on. I went to Bradley University, graduated in May of 2021 with a degree in sports communication. And I want to know where you guys went to school or where you guys are currently going to school. Drop it down in the comments. Where do you guys go to school? What did you major? And let's get the comments rolling. Now, getting into today's topics, we are going to start off with the NBA trade deadline. This is one of the most exciting times of the NBA season where we get to see some star players moved around in the league. So first, let's start off with the biggest one. James Harden and Paul Millsap get traded to the Philadelphia 76ers in exchange for Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and 2 first-round picks, all going to the Brooklyn Nets. Now, first off, let's start with the Sixers. I think this is going to be a really great trade. The Sixers have struggled a little bit this season, and I think adding a star like James Harden is going to really help them. They now have a new big three of James Harden, Joel Embiid, and Tobias Harris. James Harden brings a great amount of scoring to this team, and I think it's going to be really good for this team. However, on the flip side, I do not think that they won this trade. I think the Brooklyn Nets definitely won this trade, getting a player like Ben Simmons. While he has not played at all this season, he's going to play for this Brooklyn Nets team, and he's going to add a lot of finishing, a lot of passing, and a lot of great defense. The only thing that he's struggled with is his jump shot, which I think that this is a great opportunity for him to learn how to shoot the ball with players like Kevin Durant and Patty Mills, Kyrie Irving, players that are very good at shooting the ball. I think this could be a very good, fresh start for Ben Simmons. Along with that, you have players like Seth Curry, one of the best three-point shooters in the league today, as well as Andre Drummond, one of the best rebounders in the game, consistently top 5 every season in rebounds per game. Along with that, you also get 2 first-round picks from the Philadelphia 76ers. I think that this is a great trade for the Brooklyn Nets, and I think that they won this side of it. Moving on, we have Domantas Sabonis getting traded from the Indiana Pacers over to the Sacramento Kings in exchange for Tyrese Haliburton, Buddy Hield, and Tristan Thompson. Now, this is a very questionable move, in my opinion, for the Kings. It looks like they are trying to build around De'Aaron Fox, also adding a player like Donte DiVincenzo in a separate trade. But I do not think that Domantas Sabonis is going to be the guy that really puts the Kings over the edge. Now, don't get me wrong. Domantas Sabonis is a great player. He is a former All-Star, multiple-time All-Star. He's a great scorer, great rebounder. He can do a lot on the court. However, he is not the guy, again, that's going to put the Sacramento Kings over the edge. Him paired with De'Aaron Fox could be really, really interesting, and who knows what could happen, but in my opinion, this is not going to be good in the long run for the Kings. On the flip side, the Pacers nailed this trade, getting a player like Tyrese Haliburton, who was 3rd in voting in Rookie of the Year last year. He is a phenomenal young player that is going to be really nice for this Indiana Pacers team. Along with that, you have a great shooter in Buddy Hield and a great rebounder in Tristan Thompson. While it might take a few years for the Pacers to really be on top again, I think that this is a move in the right direction for this Indiana Pacers team, and I think that they won this trade. Next, we have Kere Sliver getting traded from the Indiana Pacers over to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think this is a really great move for the Cavaliers. A team that nobody thought was going to be this good this year. Currently sitting at the 3rd seed in the NBA standings. This team has surprised everybody with a lot of young talent and a lot of improvement from guard Darius Garland and center Jarrett Allen. Adding a great scorer in Kere Sliver could really put them over the edge, whether that be him coming off the bench or him starting at shooting guard. He will add a lot of scoring to this team. The only question about this trade is, can Kere Sliver stay healthy? He has stayed healthy for the most part this season, but he has had a history of being fairly injury prone. We'll see how this works out for the Cavaliers. Now next, we have another interesting trade. We have the Washington Wizards sending Spencer Dinwiddie and Davos Bertons to the Dallas Mavericks in exchange for Kristaps Porzingis. Now starting off with the Mavericks get a really great player in Spencer Dinwiddie, one of the best 6 men that we have seen currently in the NBA. He can bring you scoring, he can bring you passing, there's a lot he can do on the court, and he's going to really help this Mavericks team. Along with that, you add one of the best shooting big men in the league in Davos Bertons. He is a great shooter from 3, from mid-range. He's great at scoring the ball, and it's going to be a really great acquisition for the Dallas Mavericks. In exchange for that, the Wizards make a questionable move. Now, Kristaps Porzingis is a great player. He has had some all-star shining moments. He is a former all-star. However, he has been very injury prone. He has had a lot of good, but he has also had a lot of bad moments as a basketball player. And again, this is a very interesting move, and we'll just have to wait and see how this pans out for the Washington Wizards team. Another Wizards trade that we had in the league, Montrezl Harrell gets sent from the Wizards to the Charlotte Hornets in exchange for Vernon Carey and Ish Smith. Another very questionable move for the Wizards. Montrezl Harrell is a former 6th man of the year, a great spark plug off the bench with rebounding and scoring, and I think he's really going to help the Charlotte Hornets team possibly move up in the Eastern Conference standing, currently sitting at around the 8th or 7th seed. The Wizards, again, I'm not sure exactly what they're doing for this trade. Ish Smith and Vernon Carey are normally seen as role players, but who knows what can happen on this Wizards team. Next, we have Serge Ibaka getting sent to the Milwaukee Bucks in a 4-team trade. That also sends Donte DiVincenzo to the Kings and Marvin Bagley to the Pistons. However, we're only going to be talking about Serge Ibaka in this. Serge Ibaka is one of the best post defenders in the league today. While he is not as good as when he played for the Oklahoma City Thunder, he is still a great shot blocker. And now he gets added to a great defensive team in Milwaukee, alongside players like Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. This is a great move for the Bucks, who get a really solid role-playing center and a great defensive player. And finally, we have CJ McCollum getting traded from the Portland Trailblazers to the New Orleans Pelicans. I think this is a great move for the Pelicans. This creates a new big 3 of CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, and Zion Williamson. When and if he returns, maybe this season, maybe next season. But when they are all together and all healthy, this could be a really solid Pelicans team. You also have players like Jonas Valanciunas and Devontae Graham. Great players for this team. You have a young player in Herbert Jones who's had a great rookie season. And I think that the future is possibly bright in New Orleans. This could be a move that puts them over the edge in the next coming years. While they will not be great this year, this could be a good move for their future. Now, moving on from the trade deadline, this weekend we have the NBA All-Star Weekend, starting from Friday, ending Sunday. This is one of my favorite times of the year in sports, and we have a lot of great events that we're going to be talking about today. Now, first off, we're going to be talking about the Rising Stars Challenge, a challenge between rookies and sophomores in the league, but this year they added a little twist. This year they had 4 coaches draft from a pool of rookies and sophomores, as well as 4 players from the G League Ignite. And these teams are Team Rick Barry, Team Isaiah Thomas, Team Gary Payton, and Team James Worthy. We're going to go through this list, talk about a few players. So first off with Team Rick Barry, they had Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, and Franz Wagner, 3 players that are potentially up for Rookie of the Year this season. You also have a player like Dyson Daniels of the G League Ignite, Isaac Okoro of the Cavaliers, Alperen Sengun, and Jayshawn Tate, both of the Houston Rockets. I think this is a really solid team, and I think that this is potentially at least a finals team for this Rising Stars bracket. Now, next team, Isaiah Thomas. He has a lot of sophomores on this team. He has Precious Achiuwa. He has Desmond Bane, Sadiq Bey, Isaiah Stewart, both of the Pistons. Rookie runner-up Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Tyrese Haliburton, who we mentioned earlier, now on the Indiana Pacers. And Jaden Hardy of the G League Ignite. In my opinion, I think this is the most well-rounded team, most talented team. He has a lot of sophomores on this team that have had great sophomore seasons. Fantastic sophomore seasons, way better than their rookie seasons. Next, we have Gary Payton, who has LaMelo Ball, who was the Rookie of the Year last year for the Charlotte Hornets. You have Scotty Barnes of the Toronto Raptors, Ayo Dosunmu of the Chicago Bulls, Chris Duarte of the Indiana Pacers, Scoot Henderson of the G League Ignite, as well as Jaden McDaniels of the Timberwolves and Davion Mitchell of the Kings. I think this is also a solid team. You have 2 great defenders in Davion Mitchell and Jaden McDaniels. You have the former Rookie of the Year and LaMelo Ball. And you also have great players like Scotty Barnes and Ayo Dosunmu, who have had great rookie seasons. And finally, we have Team James Worthy. Now, in my opinion, this team is the weakest out of the bunch, but still a very talented team. You have Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs of the Orlando Magic. You have Marjon Beauchamp of the G League Ignite. You have Josh Giddey of the Oklahoma City Thunder, Jalen Green of the Houston Rockets, as well as Herbert Jones of the Pelicans and Tyrese Maxey of the Philadelphia 76ers. Like I said, I think this is the weakest team, but they still have a lot of great players like Cole Anthony, like Josh Giddey, like Tyrese Maxey. Great players for this team, and I guess we'll see how they do. Now, how they're doing it this year is it's going to be a 4-team bracket-styled tournament to see who is the Rising Stars champion. So the first matchup is going to be Team Rick Barry versus Team Gary Payton. I think that this could be a very good matchup, but I'm going to take Team Rick Barry over Team Gary Payton. I think that Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, and Franz Wagner all being up for Rookie of the Year is going to really help him push him over the edge for this game. Now, after that, we have Team Isaiah Thomas versus Team James Worthy. I think that Team Isaiah Thomas is going to win this one pretty handily. Not, like I said, I don't think Team James Worthy is that great. They're still very talented, but I think that Team Isaiah Thomas is very talented, and I think that they have a potential of winning it all. And that leaves Team Rick Barry versus Team Isaiah Thomas. And like I said, I really like both of these teams, but I think that Isaiah Thomas's team is going to push over the edge and win the Rising Stars Challenge. Next, we have the NBA Skills Challenge, a challenge of shooting, passing, and dribbling. Now, they have 3 separate teams this year. They have Team Rookie, consisting of Cade Cunningham, Scotty Barnes, and Josh Giddey. You have Team Cavalier, which consists of Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, and Jarrett Allen. And then finally, you have Team Antetokounmpo, where Giannis is going to team up with his 2 brothers, Alex and Thanasis. I think this is going to be a really fun skills challenge, and it is really hard to gauge who's going to win this, but I'm going to put my money on Team Cavaliers. Why do you ask? Is because while you don't normally associate centers with passing and dribbling, we've seen in the past that centers can win the skills challenge and do it pretty frequently, if you ask me. And that's why I'm going to pick the team with 2 centers in Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen alongside their point guard, Darius Garland. Next is the three-point contest. And in my opinion, this is my personal favorite event in All-Star Weekend. You get to see some of the best three-point shooters in the league show what they can do from beyond the arc. And the players that we have for this event, we have CJ McCollum, Trae Young, Zach LaVine, Desmond Bane, Karl Anthony Towns, Fred VanVleet, Patty Mills, and Luke Kennard. Now, it's hard to choose who might win this. I'm going to choose the top three and go from there. But I'm looking at this list, and I'm a guy that really likes to root for underdogs. And because of that, I think that the final three is going to be Zach LaVine, Luke Kennard, and Patty Mills. All these shooters are great, and anything could really happen in this event, but those are the three that I think are going to be the finalists. And who do I think is going to win? I think it's going to be Patty Mills of the Brooklyn Nets. Now, Patty Mills has been a great role player in this league for years. This is his first season on the Brooklyn Nets and has actually had one of his best scoring seasons alongside players like Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving. He's been a great scorer for this team, and I think he's going to pull out for this challenge. Next, we have the Slam Dunk Contest, one of the most electrifying events in this All-Star Weekend. And we have a lot of young players that we haven't necessarily seen in the dunk contest except for one player, that being Obi Toppin. The other three players are Cole Anthony, Jalen Green, and Juan Toscano Anderson. Now, it's pretty hard to gauge who might win this challenge because we don't really get to see them try to pull off these dunks in the regular season. You know, we see flashes of their dunks, but we don't really get to see the whole thing. But I think I'm going to choose an underdog on this again. I think that Juan Toscano Anderson is going to win the Slam Dunk Contest. Of the Golden State Warriors, we have seen a lot of great poster dunks from him, and I'm very excited to see what he can really do dunking the ball. Now finally, we have the main event, the NBA All-Star Game, Team LeBron James versus Team Kevin Durant. I think it's going to be a really solid game, but who do I think is going to win? Well, looking at the draft, I think that LeBron James definitely won the draft. He had some really great players, and that's nothing against Kevin Durant's team, because they are all very talented as well. But LeBron James' team is stacked. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Steph Curry, Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, DeMar DeRozan, and the list goes on. Now, this is going to be a very high-scoring game because the All-Star Game is always high-scoring. But I think that Team LeBron is going to pull out the win 155 to 143. And that's going to do it for us today. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the BaseLINE Podcast NBA All-Star Shiners. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, leave a comment on what you guys might want me to talk about next. I could be talking about the NFL offseason. I could be talking about Jim Harbaugh staying in Michigan. I could be talking about the Olympics. Anything is possible for us to talk about, so please leave it in the comments on what you might want me to talk about next. Also, please subscribe to this channel if you are new, and I appreciate you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.